In this video I'll revisit level 55 of Hijack. I'm now cc7 since my last video on this map. So I've incorporated a Mantis and the Merkavas into the mix, but essentially it could be completed with cc6 units also. As we all know, Kickstarter increased the health of structures in the events, and in particular the health of the railgun, which means we can no longer splash them to death, unfortunately. So it's meant that the missions not only take longer, but they cost more too, which is a bit annoying, but it is what it is, I guess. These guys really want this wall down here. It's getting more and more. Yeah, if you see that arc appear, that arc target line there, it could be that you're about to wander into PM territory. Anyway, I'm just going to leave these guys here. So we need a bit of a distraction now to kill this gun here. And it means just moving very slightly with the tank. And the last item drops. So this time I'm going to push forward just a little bit. And hopefully it'll activate these guys and we can target them with the... Oh, actually I want that. Okay. So that's the end of the first run. It used to be free, it's not anymore, sadly, but we've achieved a little bit more in the opening section. Taking down that factory gives the space that we need to run the vehicles into without accidentally setting off to middle PM, so it's kind of worth it in the end, really. So we'll take these two Merkavas and run them into this corner here. I did experiment with the Mantis on this run also, but it meant that I had to use it for the decoy run instead of a Humvee, and it wasn't as reliable in that respect. So I found my Mantis was taking the damage instead of the tanks, basically. So kind of negates the object. So this section is pretty much the same as it was previously. Now I've added a fifth 270 here, and I think that's a bit risky. It's a bit risky there, activating the PM and accidentally sliding into range of the railgun there. So I'm not entirely sure it was a good idea or not, to be honest. Anyway, we'll see. So I want these two tanks here. I'm going to put the slightly damaged one slightly further back, and then we're going to target one of these vehicles. And then that's all done. So the tanks come back to the middle. We want to separate the two groups now into 270s into perpendicular positions to their target rail guns. That keeps them out of the way of the... Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Did I get away with it? Okay, so start the run. Can turn these guys around, I guess. As soon as he starts firing, we'll move them in and put them directly on the target guns. Now the trick with using a Humvee like this as distraction, which really reduces the amount of damage you take into a decoy, it's just about waiting until the last shot is fired, counting to 3 and then turning him around. And turn. And then when you turn, you can make your moves. And select the Humvee again. 1, 2, 3, and then turn him around, put him back where he came from. So I'll put the tanks on this guy, and then I'm going to have to turn him first. And then this. Okay. So then we move on to direct targeting. So we'll take out one of these strikers onto with splash damage here. And then we can trigger him with the Merkavas there. So now we've got more time here than previously. We can actually splash these walls without activating the PM, so we may as well do that before moving on to run number 3. So the third platoon now incorporates a Mantis. If you don't have one, it's not at the end of the world at all, but you do save a little bit of damage from a salvo unit. If you don't have one, use another tank, I guess, or add another couple of 270s. There might be a good reason to do that, actually. So I want the 270s on each corner. There's the Humvee, there's a little spring in his step these days, just noticed it. So turn these guys around with the AI button, move the tank, and then we'll get into position. So once again, we're looking for a little bit of a rhythm with the distraction. So we'll send them down to this post here. As soon as the PM fires, we can target our 270s. So count to 3, and send him back. Put the 270s on the wall. Oh, tank's moved in a bit too far there. So once the railgun's done on the right, we can take out this guy here. And one last turnaround to be sure, and then we're done, I think. So you can turn AI on for the rest of it. Did I just send them all to that same spot I did? meant only to use the, the Humvee there. Anyways, there we go. That's the end of it, I guess. So you can use it as well. I think I mentioned cc6 units with Abrams. Probably a loss of a couple of M270s, but it's not the end of the world. Might take you a bit longer. So there we have it, I guess. Let's take a look at the scores. So the first wave was 279. Second one, 946. And third, 64. So 1289 altogether. As I say, if you don't have the Mantis, you'll probably take more damage. Well, you will take more damage in that third run, I guess. But yeah, hope that helps. Take care.